If you like this video, please click on the like button. Comment with the names of the movies you would like us to cover next. Click the subscribe button and press the bell icon to get notified of our latest creations. We cover 100 movies from around the world every day. To advertise with our channel, reach out to us. Our contact information is on our channel page. Now, let's move to the plot of this movie.
Ella is 37 and uninterested in having kids despite pressure from her friends and family. Her father, the grandchild of Holocaust survivors, urges her to reconsider. Her husband Aidan suggests that she visit a doctor, Dr. Weber, for breast cancer screening. At the doctor's, Ella explains her trepidations about childbirth and her wish that her biological clock would kick in. Dr. Weber says Ella's clock might be broken, then suggests an experimental treatment. Ella leaves to enroll in the study under the guise of working on an important work project, which she backs out of by phone. She meets Dr. Elizabeth Simmons, who claims that she can fix Ella's clock with an implant and hormones. Ella begins taking the prescribed pills. During a Rorschach test, Ella hallucinates a very tall woman, a family of dead bugs, and a grandfather clock. Dr. Simmons suggests that the clock represents Ella's fear of ending her family line and that she's ready for the next step in the treatment. In a sensory deprivation chamber designed to make her face her fears, Ella sees herself with a baby swinging from between her legs like a pendulum, as well as terrifying scenes of childbirth. She screams to be let out. When the chamber opens, she sees the tall woman standing at her tank, runs, but slips and hits her head. She passes out. When Ella awakes, Dr. Simmons tells her that a strong reaction to the treatment is a good sign. Ella watches the surveillance footage and sees that the person standing outside the tank was the attendant. Ella agrees to the last procedure, the insertion of the implant, and returns home. Ella and Aidan attend a party at her pregnant friend Shauna's house. Ella hallucinates a spider again and attempts to smash Shauna's belly with a heavy book, but Aidan stops her. Shauna is unsettled, though still wants her to design her nursery. The side effects continue. Ella loses her color vision, hears the tickings of a grandfather clock, and sees normal people as the tall woman. She keeps this from Dr. Simmons to avoid being pulled from the study. As she has an episode in Shauna's nursery, Shauna walks in and discovers that Ella has been decorating the room with horrors, painting the tall woman and other objects of her hallucinations and nailing jagged pieces of wood on the wall. The friends argue, and Shauna's water breaks. Ella smears the amniotic fluid on her own face and is thrown out of the house by Shauna's wife. Ella is summoned to her dad's, as he has fallen and broken his arm. As he speaks, the ticking of the grandfather clock behind him grows louder. Ella grabs tools from the cupboards and attacks the clock amidst her father's protests. She tears it apart piece by piece, reveling in its destruction. Aidan finds Ella sitting at home in shock, with cuts on her hands. She explains what happened, and he consoles her. As he cleans her wounds, she tells him she's ready for a baby. They have sex and are immediately interrupted when the implant cuts Aidan's genitals. He asks her to grab gauze from his bag. Ella sees the treatment facility logo on the bag and confronts him. Aidan admits he met Dr. Simmons at a trade show and plotted to have Dr. Weber suggest the study to Ella. In a rage, Ella aggravates his injury and leaves. Ella drives to the facility and confronts Dr. Simmons before other participants. They argue, and Ella asks for the implant to be removed. Dr. Simmons refuses. Ella begins to remove it with pliers and is stopped by the tall woman. When Ella knocks her down, the tall woman turns into Dr. Simmons. Ella rips the implant out of herself and is able to see colors again. Several police cars arrive. Ella flees by car. Stopped near the edge of a cliff. Ella answers a call from Aiden. He tells her that he called the cops after seeing what she did to her father. Ella is bewildered. Then realizes the clock she tore apart was actually her father. She leaves the car in despair and is handcuffed by the cops. She runs for and jumps off the edge of the cliff. Ella lies at the bottom of the cliff, by the edge of the water, with no visible injuries. She watches a strange fish-like creature crawl out of the water towards her.